Welcome to a Halo Wars 2 game breakdown here. This is my first time doing this one. Shout out to the channel Breaking the Clutch, my personal favorite Halo Wars 2 community. They've been a pretty big inspiration for this. I wanted to do this for a while, but just got the means to do so. So what we're looking at here is I'm in Onyx, and my buddy Brandon is he's playing Cutter, and he's in Champion as of this game. And we're going against a rank 50 and a rank 23, a Jerome and Johnson. And this was our first match of the night, the other night. So if it's a little like kind of rusty looking, like, oh geez, he's not doing great, like, don't worry, I'm gonna break that all down. But this was kind of like the warm-up game, so let's just hop right into it. So I start with Harvester, and then I get my grunts, and I always go and get the mini base on this map. I think it's really important to have middle control. At least it has been historically. So I have continuously made sure to go get that. After I get this mini base right here, I'm just gonna, yep, there we go, grab that. After I get that mini base there, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this power node here. I think it's really important to get an early power node. That way you don't have to necessarily invest in extractors super early on. Obviously, I grab an extractor early on my base, but it's not as much of a necessary kind of dire need. So what you saw right there was what's kind of known as unit dancing. I took the more damage guy out of the way, so that way I wouldn't just get focus fired and lose a grunt there. So once I start capping the node, I'm going to start sending my grunts to get supplies and power. You know, probably what the other team's already been doing, but this will give us at least a power advantage, and this helps both me and my teammate in getting a head start with the power. So right here, Brandon's showing me that he has this kind of unconventional build to get Cyclops early, and he can get Cyclops with that build by about the 2.5 minute mark to 3 minute mark, which is great. It's great to have Cyclops that early, especially in a meta where you see a lot of Jerome Jackrabbits. So the build I'm going for is just a standard ghost build. Right now I'm waiting to get another extractor. That's why I haven't put anything on that fourth slot. Had I upgraded my first harvester faster, I would have probably been able to get an extractor by now, but we're right about ready. There it goes. So once I get this build going, I'm going to start getting my harvesters upgraded so I can pump out ghosts efficiently. I have my mini base ready to go, and now we're kind of just waiting around here for supplies to start coming in. Now I wish that I would have gotten my first ghost built right now, because I typically like to scout around the 2.5 minute mark to 3 minute mark. But what you're seeing here is a little bit of a warm-up game, so just bear with me a little bit here. So as you saw with my first leader point, I went Banished Raid. And here I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I haven't seen any of their units yet, so I'm going to assume that I'm good to just get Banished Raid 2. My ghosts can capture points with Banished Raid 2. Which is really helpful when you have a ghost build, because that forces the other person's armies to spread out a little bit. Now right here, I'm starting to get my ghosts made. I'm trying to figure out what to do. And if I was smart, there we go. If I was smart, I would have already sent a grunt over there. Because of the late ghost production, I needed to get a scout going, so I sent a grunt over there, and if they kill me, I know they have units and that they're going to bring something to the table here. But as of right now, I know that ghosts are going to counter almost anything they throw at us early. And as you can see, we see a couple of Marines from, I believe, the light blue player. And I'm looking right now, I'm pinging the base for Brandon to look at. We see kind of a late game build going on with dark blue. Two generators, a couple supply pads, and an armory. So we know that they're going Jerome and possibly Jackrabbits. So I'm going to continue my ghost pump, because I know that ghosts can challenge Jackrabbits fairly early. Now I'm going to scout the mini bases here, and then go directly to light blue, who I just realized had an expo. So I'm pinging that saying, hey, this person expo, they're going to have a weak army. We can attack them head on early on. We should be fine. As you can see there, just another base. No Tech 2 hit yet, so we're not worried about any of that. So what I'm going to do is start bringing my units all centralized in the middle here. I'm going to start getting all my units together so that way I can push up a little bit once Brandon's units hit 2. And at this point, he's already been pumping Cyclops and getting his whole army going. I'm showing you right there, Cyclops. So right now, if I was smart, I'd be pushing up, taking more power nodes. I have grunts, I have ghosts. But right here we see the Johnson play coming in where he's got his hero, a couple of Marines, but that's not really enough to take on an army at almost the 5-minute mark here. I've already got turrets up, and I clearly have the advantage here. So I say, you know what, why don't we push up? You know, he's going to retreat a little bit in the event that a counterattack comes to him, but I'm going to push up a little bit and see if I can take this Johnson out. I don't see him there, so I'm going to pull back, but oh, right there we see the Johnson and the Marines. So what do? Well, I send my ghosts over, and I'm going to try to take him out. I've got, what I believe, 9 ghosts there, so 9 ghost rams against an unupgraded Johnson. It's going to be a piece of cake. Just a couple Marines and a Johnson. So right here, just spamming the Y button, trying to get every ghost to ram Johnson so we can get his shield out. And what I'm going for right here is because I've already gotten Tech 2, I can start going into kind of a... I call it my dysfunctional build because it doesn't really work very often, but it can work with the right comp. Now, if I was smart, if you look at my eco right now, I've got insane eco. I need to be getting more ghosts out. I need to expand. It's the 6-minute mark, and I just taken out his starting army there, but I'm going to push up a little bit, see what I can do with my ghosts. As a self-critique here, ghosts are pretty decent against buildings, but at this point he's got turrets coming up. A decent salvo here by the light blue player, but ghosts are fast. You can get out of the way of that pretty quickly. But a beautiful, oh god, beautiful EMP Mac Blast by the Johnson player there. Takes out, makes pretty much all of Brandon's army one shot. This is before he can get Nightingales over there to heal. So right now we're kind of looking at a pretty damaged army, but we're gonna keep pushing and force the light blue player to come over. And sure enough, there comes the Jerome and Marine play. So I say, hey, I'm gonna get Marauders. I'm gonna go Elite Rangers and counter any infantry they're gonna build because he's gonna need to get stuff quickly. I'm assuming he's gonna try to go Cyclops and snipers to try to counter our armies. Now, one thing I want to point out here is my partner Brandon, he threw down some ODSTs, and those satchel charges are insanely powerful. You can just drop down some ODSTs, throw down satchel charges, and look at the damage that it did on the right side there, taking out half the buildings over there just by themselves, really. So I'm going to keep pumping because, as you can see, my eco is just off the charts. So I'm going to keep pumping units and bringing them over, but, well, I should be bringing them over, but as you'll see soon here, I'm heavily focused on my ghosts and dancing around my ghosts that I'm starting to produce units and not bringing them over. And this is just giving them even more time to prepare a counterattack. So that's another self-critique there. We did drop the base, obviously, but they had nothing to counter us right there. I'm going to check for an expo for dark blue here, but again, I'm producing units and they're not coming to help the fight. I'm still just using my ghosts. So right here, I'm pushing the expo, and I've got my units. I'm even sitting here selecting them and not doing anything with them. I'm trying to get used to the sensitivity of the new scroller, trying to get a shield generator up. But I bring my ghosts over and I pull back, and I'm not really sure why we didn't just decide to just push right away. We had the units ready to go, but nonetheless, I'm going to get my expansion finally. Again, a little late to that party, but I mean, better late than never, I guess. And I'm just going to keep pumping out Rangers. Now, another critique, I'm just going heavily. My whole army comp at this point is anti-infantry. I don't really have anything to purely take down bases. You can see the all units right there, a bunch of ghosts, a bunch of elite rangers, and marauders. But neither of us have anything that truly takes out buildings. If you saw, I did make one locust, but then realized that my army comp is just full of other stuff. But we say, you know what, we're going to push up anyways. We have the unit advantage. But right here we see quad turrets. And my immediate reaction is, let's pull back. Because I don't know if we're going to be able to handle this, but, we say, whatever, let's just push. We have the advantage. One player's already been eliminated, so let's just end this game right here, right now. Now I'm going to grab displacement in the event that he unlocks his base and sounds out a bunch of units. Hopefully we can displace them out of the way should he bring out a bunch of stuff, but right now everything's looking great. You can see him losing ghosts fairly quickly, but at this point I kind of wanted to lose them so I could get more locusts built and end the game faster. See a little bit of a choke there with the power extractor. I didn't mean to build that. You could see that I had plenty of power, so I had to scrap that, get a harvester going. Just lost another ghost there. But my marauders can take a lot of hits from these turrets, so I'm just going to keep pumping out units here. And if I was smart, I'd be, there we go, getting hunters. And right now my unit composition not looking great. Oh, I guess I didn't sack that power extractor. I really should have. Big choke right here. I'm trying to skirt my units away and focus fire this anti-vehicle turret, but it takes out my one locust that's already over there, right there. Huge choke there, because now I only have elite rangers over there to fight, and they can't do jack diddly squat against anything but infantry. And they can hit air units, I guess, but like they're just anti-infantry. So I'm gonna keep pumping out hunters and locusts and bring them over. But another self-critique here is look at how much power I have. I have almost 3k power. I'm doing nothing with it. I'm just sitting on it. I'm waiting for units to get built, and I'm just sitting here. Now, thankfully, we have the advantage, but in a game where it's going to be tightly contested, I need to get my power going. I need to, start using my war council. There I go, finally using it, and really start to expand that army size and get things made faster so we can improve our advantage. Now, again, another critique here is, I still haven't upgraded my expansion with all that power. I did trigger the upgrade, as you saw, but it's the 11-minute mark. We have the advantage. I should have, done all this expanding stuff sooner. Oh, excuse me. But right here, I'm amassing all my units at the healing spot in the event that any of my units were hurt, but it really doesn't matter because all I really had over there were elite rangers, so we're just kind of delaying the inevitable. We're assuming that the light blue player has been making units to counter us, so we're trying to amass an army here. But if we were smart, we have building killers, we have full armies ready to go, and instead we're just taking our time building up these units that we don't need to build up, and we're just sitting here elongating the game, getting upgrades, but we're not really doing anything. If we were smart, we'd have already pushed up and taken this game out. But thankfully here, I feel like I have a good amount of units. I can see at the top there the yellow army moving in. So I'm going to go ahead and grab spirit support here. And there I go. Good job, Isaiah. Grab this base so he can't get another expansion, and we're gonna just meet up all our units and start taking out this base. He's gonna, now another critique just for our communication between my partner and I. We play together frequently. We did a lot of placements together, and I think we only lost one game or 2 games because one of us would disconnect both the times. That was the only reason we lost. We won all the other games that we actually stayed in the whole game. Either way, right here, again, quad turrets, but he calls in close air support, which is going to really help just weaken everything around there. We're still trying to figure out what the light blue player is trying to do. I'm just going to start bringing in my locusts, start taking out all these buildings. Again, there's no real resistance from this player, in higher level Onyx, Onyx and Champ play, you'd expect a little bit more here, but as you see there, he calls in Omega Team, which is great with an army, but Omega Team by itself isn't really going to do much. So at this point, the game's over. We've taken out his bases. We're just finishing off his Omega Team here. So there's not really much more to say other than obvious improvements would be attack earlier. When we have the units ready to go, we need to just attack earlier and just get the game over with. But overall, a solid victory. It was nice to win against someone that's a high rank, like rank 50. But that's all for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.